Colorado High School Activities Association baseball is on B106 and B106.com. This afternoon from Legion Field in Fort Morgan, it is the final game of the Colorado 7-League Tournament, and that features your Fort Morgan Mustangs hosting the Fort Lupton Blue Devils. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brian Nickel here at Legion Field. Glad you could join us today for some high school baseball. The Mustangs won their game this morning 14-7 over Weld Central. And they will be taking on Fort Lupton here shortly here. The opening pitch is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Looking to find insurance for your car, home, or even for you? Call Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance with 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan. They can help you with your car, health, or life insurance questions or provide a quote. So we are ready. First pitch misses for a ball. On the mound today for the Mustangs this afternoon anyway is Jacob Ortega. He misses with the first pitch, and that pitch is going to be outside ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Ortega gets that fastball in there for the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jacob Ortega on the year 4-1 with a 2.04 ERA in 6 appearances. And that curveball is in there for a strike. Nice pitch there by Ortega. And he is pitching to John Howard and Gavin Case and then Freddie Suarez. And the pitch is going to be just outside. So a full count here on the leadoff batter, John Howard. That is going to miss low for ball 4, so a leadoff walk by Ortega. That will bring up Gavin Case, shortstop. He is batting at .375 with 24 hits, 6 walks, and 18 strikeouts. And that pitch is going to be a swing and a miss for strike 1. As Ortega threw that fastball right by him, and that is going to be hit out into center field, out to J.P. Hamer. And they put the ball in the glove for the first out here of the top of the first. Next up is going to be Freddie Suarez, the third baseman. Pitch over to first, and back in safely is John Howard. And the pitch is going to catch the outside corner for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Freddie Suarez. Batting at .429. They're going to throw back over again to first. McBride out at first base. Devin Messman at short. They're going to quick pitch back over, and back in safely once again is Howard. Isaac Linker at short. Austin Apple at third. And the pitch, and that's going to be upstairs. Ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. In the outfield, Jimmy Keller in left, J.P. Hamer in center, Alex Ortega in right. Connor Fajardo behind the plate, Jacob Ortega on the mound. 2 balls and 1 strike to the number 3 hitter. 1 on with a walk. Gavin Case then flies out to center. And the pitch, and that's going to be fouled straight back. So 2 balls, 2 strikes on the number 3 hitter. Jacob Ortega gets his sign from Fajardo, checks his runner over at first in Howard. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. So 2 outs now here in the top of the first. As they're waiting there, he finally steps in, and this is going to be Andy Segovia, left fielder. And the pitch. And that is going to catch the outside corner for strike 1. So no balls and 1 strike to the cleanup hitter, Andy Segovia. And the pitch is going to be too far outside that time. That's going to be ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. To Segovia, batting at .404 with 23 hits. Now they're going to throw over to first. Back in safely is Howard. So the last game here before they look to regionals next Saturday. Fort Morgan comes in having won the Colorado 7 League regular season, and they come in 14-4 overall. And that's going to be popped up and out of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes remain the count. They have lost the board. Our scoreboard has gone blank, so but I have it right here in front of me. So Ortega checks his runner over at first and the pitch, and that's going to be in the dirt. Nice stop by Fajardo to keep the runner at first. Fajardo back into the catching position as they throw over to first to keep Howard honest. Ortega checks once again, and the delivery, and that is going to be upstairs. For ball 4, so runners at first and second. Runners at first and second, they'll ring up Dustin Howard, the catcher. Dustin Howard batting at .448, 26 hits, 14 walks, and 13 strikeouts. Been hit 3 times during the season. Ortega with the pitch, and that is going to miss for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes as we play here in the top of the first inning. Via 2 walks, and that's in there for a strike. So Howard walks, Segovia walks. In between we have 2 outs. Jacob with the pitch, and that's going to be upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. He thought about swinging at it. Ortega checks his runner out at second, looks in, and the pitch. Going to be up and in. 4 ball 3. He's a ball away from loading up the bases. So he needs to get it in here to avoid the walk. And the pitch. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Strike 2, so a full count. So the runners will be taken off with the 2 outs. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the top of the first as Ortega steps off the rubber, now back on. Checks with Fajardo, checks the runner out at second. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. In the top of the first. We will go to the bottom of the first with the Mustangs coming up on B106 and B106.com. So bottom of the first, the Mustangs hold the Blue Devils off the board. Jacob Ortega did issue 2 walks, but did strike out 3. As they're warming up the pitcher still. So we'll give you the lineup for the Mustangs. Batting first is center fielder J.P. Hamer. Batting second is the pitcher Jacob Ortega. Batting third, first baseman Trey McBride. Batting fourth, shortstop Isaac Linker. Batting fifth, left fielder Jimmy Keller. Batting sixth is third baseman Austin Apple. Batting seventh is the right fielder Alex Ortega. Batting eighth is second baseman Devin Messman. And batting ninth is the catcher Connor Fajardo. As they're still warming up the pitcher here. So Fort Morgan beat Fort Lupton 14-4 back on the 20th of April. Jacob Ortega with 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts in that game. That was Fort Lupton's only loss in league play. They were 6-1. So J.P. Hamer up to the plate. Hamer with the first pitch, and that is going to be inside for ball one. So Hamer's batting at .455, 12 walks and 10 strikeouts, has been hit 4 times. And the pitch, and that is going to be fouled at the plate for strike one, excuse me, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitching for Weld Central is Aaron Stow. Defensively, Simon Johnson at first, Andres Escueda at second, Freddie Suarez at third, Gavin Case at short. And the pitch, and that's going to be tapped foul down the third base line. Now strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the outfield is Andy Segovia. In left field, John Howard in center, and in right field is Ivan Ledesma. Aaron Stow on the mound, and Dustin Howard behind the plate for the Blue Devils. So 1 ball and 2 strikes, and that's going to be a hard hit ball out to center field. That may happen. As that puts the Mustangs up on the board 1-0. So Hamer gets into that one. That's his 3rd of the year. Now up to bat is Jacob Ortega. So the Mustangs on the board first, 1-0 on the home run by Hamer. And that pitch is going to be up and in for ball 1. Jacob Ortega batting at .322 on the season. 19 hits. And the pitch, and that's going to be a bunt, beautifully laid bunt. And the pitcher goes down. He's losing his footing. I don't think they'd have had him anyway, so we're going to give Ortega a infield hit. And we'll bring up Trey McBride. McBride on the year, batting at .638. Yeah, Stout checks his runner over at first, and McBride takes for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. So Mustangs up 1-0 here on a center field home run by J.P. Hamer. And the runner is going to take off, and he will get there safely. There is no throw. Ball got away from the catcher. But a stolen base for Jacob Ortega. So RBI sitting out there for McBride. McBride on the year with 35 RBIs. As they check the runner now to the pitch, and that hits McBride. That is his 4th time that he has been hit. So now 2 on for Isaac Linker. Isaac Linker having to pick up a few of the baseballs here back by the backstop. So Isaac Linker on the year, batting at .424, has 25 hits, 24 RBIs. He's got one sitting out there for him now at second in Jacob Ortega. And the pitch, and that is going to be inside for ball 1. Checking down at third base for his signs from Coach Langford. Back in the box. Aaron Stow checks his runners. And the pitch, and that is going to be a low ball 2, but that will allow the runners to move up on that wild pitch. So Ortega that is going to be up for a ball. So now runners at second and third for Linker. 3 balls, and that pitch is going to get by to the backstop, and they're going to throw, and it looks like he's going to be under the tag. And that was ball 4. On ball 4. But Jacob Ortega comes in on another wild pitch. And Linker's going to end up at second. So Linker with the walk. And Ortega scores, and that pitch is going to be popped up on the infield to the pitcher for the first out by Jimmy Keller. So the runners hold up where they are at. Stow checks his runner, and now the pitch, and that's going to be outside and low for ball 1. So McBride at third, Linker out at second. And that pitch is going to be high. Two balls and no strikes to Austin Apple. Linker's out at second. This is Austin Apple. And that is a hard hit right back up the middle. And they will. So a single will. Comes through with a hard hit single right back up the middle. So he clears the bases. Now Alex Ortega stands in at the plate, and Stow steps off, and that puts Apple back to first. So the Mustangs up 4-0 here in the bottom of the first. That ball gets by, and that'll send Apple to second. So in that pass ball, that will put Apple to second as Alex Ortega with the 1-ball count. And a runner out at second in Austin Apple. He had a single, drove in 2 runs. That pitch was way up high. Nice job by the catcher to get up and keep that one from going to the backstop. That is Dustin Howard. So 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out, 4-0. Mustangs here in the bottom of the first. Stow checks his runner, and now the delivery, and that is going to be a high hit out to left field. It drives the left fielder back. And they're going to throw to third as Apple takes to third. He will get to third on the sacrifice. Sacrifice fly out to left field. So now runner at third in Devin Mussman. That ball is going to be popped up on the infield. Shortstop should come down with it, and does. Pop out ends the inning, but the Mustangs put 4 on the board as they go to the top of the second now, up 4-0 on B106 and B106.com. 4-0 for Morgan as we go to the top of the second inning, and that will bring up the 6th, 7th, and 8th batters, Simon Johnson, Andres Escueda, and Ivan Ledesma. He will be batting against Fort Morgan's Jacob Ortega. Ortega threw 25 pitches in that first inning, 13 balls, 12 strikes. And the delivery, and that is going to be low. Scoots away from Fajardo, but nothing hurt, nobody on, except for the 1-ball count. Simon Johnson. That ball is going to be fouled off of Fajardo, as the umpire is going to walk out and give him just a little bit of time to recover. So Simon Johnson, batting at .367, has 18 hits, 8 walks, 9 strikeouts. As the umpire's checking with Fajardo. And they're set to go. 1 ball and 1 strike to Simon Johnson, and that pitch misses outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Got a few clouds rolling around, shady here now, and that ball is going to be hit high and deep to left field, but it will be playable for Keller, and he comes down with the ball out in left field. So 1 up and 1 down. Batter now is Andres Escueda, second baseman, batting at .351 with 13 hits, 6 walks, 12 strikeouts. And the pitch, and be right down the middle of that fastball for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Very little wind here, a little bit out of the northwest, but nothing to be concerned with. That's going to be another swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes, with 1 out to the 8th or 7th place batter, and that pitch is going to get by Fajardo back to the fence for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jacob Ortega on the mound, and throw, and the pitch, and that is going to be fouled off of Fajardo once again. We'll go back and pick up a sponsor here for the first Fort Morgan run of the game, and that was brought to you by Cargill Meat Solutions. Cargill is committed to feeding the world in a responsible way by reducing environmental impact and continuously improving products and processes. Learn about Cargill's story of commitment at www.cargill.com. And the pitch, and that is going to be a single out to center field for Escueda. Not a hard hit ball, but well placed. So 1 on now for Ivan Ledesma. Ledesma batting at .374, 17 hits and 10 RBIs. That pitch is going to be outside for ball 1. So 10 pitches thrown here in this second frame, and the pitch is going to be hit out to the shortstop. So they'll go to 1 to second for 1, and so Fort Morgan will be the number 9 hitter, Connor Fajardo, followed by J.P. Hamer and Jacob Ortega as we go back to the top of the lineup. The Mustangs leading at 4-0. Hamer got it started off in the top of the first with a home run to center field. Then Jacob Ortega singles. He scores on a walk by Linker. Well, actually, 2 come in on Linker. And then Apple gets a single for 2 runs and brings in the 3rd and 4th run for that first inning. First pitch misses for ball 1 to Connor Fajardo. Fajardo on the year, batting at .310 with 13 hits. And the pitch, and that is a foul ball right off of the knob of the bat. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So they're checking with Fajardo. Is it Must have hit him. Might have caught him right on the hand. I think it was right on the knob of the bat. So they're going to look at him for just a second. Western Engineering Consultants provides civil engineering services for aviation, municipal, commercial, and residential clients located in Colorado. Western Engineering is invested and involved in the communities they work in. They want to wish good luck to all the athletes as they compete this year. So Fajardo in good shape with the 1 ball and 1 strike count as he leads off the bottom of the second with the Mustangs up 4-0. And the pitch, and that is going to catch the outside corner for strike 2. Fajardo with 7 walks, 7 strikes, and been hit 3 times. With a 1-2 count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch, and that's going to be way outside as Dustin Howard lunges out and stops that ball. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Aaron Stow on the mound and the pitch, and that's going to be hit to the third baseman and right through the wickets. And that will go out to left field. So an error on the third baseman. That will bring up Hamer. And he led off the game in the bottom of the first with a home run to center field. So now Hamer on the year has 3. He stands in from the right side as Stow checks his runner, and that pitch is going to be upstairs for ball 1. Fajardo with no lead. Now he's going to take a moderate lead over there at first. And Fajardo's going to take off, and that's going to be a ball down in the dirt. So Fajardo will get to second base on the stolen base. So RBI sitting out there for Hamer. Hamer with 23 RBIs. And the delivery, and that is going to be upstairs. Ball 3, 3 balls, no strikes. To the top of the order batter in J.P. Hamer. So Stow looks in, and that's going to be well inside for ball 4 for the walk. So now runners at first and second. That will bring up a Jacob Ortega. And Jacob is 1 for 1 with a single. He scored on a walk by Linker. There's a walk and then also a wild pitch. And that pitch is going to be hit out to the shortstop, and they're going to go to the third, but it gets by the third baseman. I don't know. So everybody will be safe. But Ortega will reach via the error. So everybody safe here with the bases loaded and no outs, and Trey McBride up at the plate. And that's a big swing and a miss. He was trying to get 4 runs on the board right there. So no balls and 1 strike to the third place batter, Trey McBride. Stow with the delivery, and that is going to be a deep hit to left field. And no, it's going to be dropped out there in left field. And that will bring in Fajardo, and will bring in Hamer. And a ball gets away from the third baseman, but nobody hurt. But that will be, I'm going to go ahead and give him a double on that. That was a tough. A tough catch out there, but we have runners now at second and third. Yeah, so they're going to have we'll see if they're going to have a pitching change or not. It looks like they may. Maybe have a pitching change. I'm not sure what. No, number 9 is still on the mound. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing here. It looks like the third baseman is going into the dugout. And they're bringing the center fielder in. That's going to be John Howard. So it looks like Howard will go to third. John Howard will go to third, and we'll see who they put in center field. I did not catch to see who they put out in center field, but Isaac Linker up to bat. What we have over at third is Jacob Ortega. So McBride's double scores Fajardo and Hamer. Isaac Linker in there from the right side, and that pitch is going to be in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Runners at second and third. McBride at second. Ortega at third. Ortega reached via the error. And that ball is going to be popped up on the infield to the shortstop. Pop up to the shortstop, Gavin Case. So that brings up Jimmy Keller. Jimmy Keller is 0 for 1 on a flyout. So Jimmy Keller at the plate, and that is going to be in there for a strike on that curveball. Only 1 out here in the bottom of the second. The Mustangs lead at 6-0, and that pitch is way inside, but did get corralled by the catcher, Dustin Howard. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Jimmy Keller. Stout checks these runners. Now that ball is going to be hit by the third baseman, and that will bring in Ortega. They're going to hold McBride at third. The ball bounces away, but not far enough for anybody to advance. So a single out to left field. Makes the score now 7-0 here in the bottom of the second. So that scores Ortega. And that will bring up Apple. That first pitch misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. To this number 6 batter in the lineup for the Mustangs, Austin Apple, third baseman. Runners at first and third. And the ball is going to get by, and McBride is going to come home and score on the wild pitch, and that will send Keller to second. So Keller to second on the wild pitch, and McBride will come home on that wild pitch. So Keller out at second base. That pitch is going to miss for ball 2. 2 balls. That's ball 3, excuse me. That pass ball was a ball. So 3 balls and no strikes with 1 out. Keller out at second base. And the pitch, and that hits Apple. So runners now at first and second for Alex Ortega. Ortega sac fly his first time up. So 1 out. Score now is 8-0 Fort Morgan. 4 in the first, 4 in the second. And that pitch bounces, but it's not going to be far enough for the runners to advance. So 1 ball and no strikes to Alex Ortega, Jr. And that ball is reached for, and that's going to get seeing eyes out to left field and into second safely. So a single. And Alex Ortega will go to second on the throw as they're going to have a, looks like they're going to have a pitching change for Fort Lupton. So we're going to go ahead and send it back to the station for a break here as Fort Lupton changes pitchers as Mustangs are up now 9-0 on B106 and B106.com. So Devin Mussman now up at the plate, and that pitch is going to miss low and outside for ball 1 as the Fort Morgan Mustangs now lead at 9-0 here over Fort Lupton in the bottom of the second. 5 runs scored here in this second. That's a deep hit ball out to the center fielder, and tagging and scoring will be Austin Apple on the sac fly. So sacrifice fly out to center field. So Apple will advance. Leaves strike 1 on Fajardo. And back to second. Is Ortega. That pitch gets by to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as they step off the mound and do not throw out to second. Connor Fajardo up there with 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And that pitch is in the dirt for ball 2. And that pitch also low and outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes, full count to Connor Fajardo. Howard now on the mound. That ball is going to be hit. It's going to be looped out where no man's land out into center field between center fielder and the left fielder. And hustling into a double. So now 11-0, and we'll have a courtesy runner for Fajardo. And that will be Dylan Woods. So Dylan Woods now running out at second. As we play here in the bottom of 2 as the Mustangs have scored 7. 11-0. Fort Morgan, that brings up J.P. Hamer, a home run and a walk. But Fajardo with the double, that brought in an RBI. Hamer with the pop-up out to center field. And it's going to be over the head of the center fielder as he misjudged that ball. Hamer in the second. But that will bring in Dylan Woods. So we are going to put an error on the center fielder. That is a ball that should be caught. So Woods comes home. And Hamer out at second. That brings up Jacob Ortega. And that's going to be a foul ball off to the right. Jacob Ortega, as they start back through the lineup once again with Hamer. Actually with Fajardo. Fajardo started off this inning by reaching on an error. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Jacob Ortega, the pitcher, and that was going to be a steal, but the hit and run, and they're going to run in. Ball is going to drop out there in center field as the two fielders could not decide who was going to come up with that. So an error on the right fielder, and Hamer will come home. So now Ortega over at first, 13-0 Fort Morgan, as they have played a 9 here in this bottom of the second. And that pitch misses for ball 1. Little breeze coming up, got some clouds coming through. And the pitch, and that is going to be popped up to McBride. And caught there at first base by the first baseman. But the Fort Morgan Mustangs plate 9 here in the bottom of the second as they take the 13-0 lead going into the top of the third on B106 and B106.com. Brian Nicola here as we play in the top of the third inning. As number 9 up to the plate. That will bring up Aaron Stow. First 2 pitches missed for 2 balls and no strikes. As Jacob Ortega still on the mound, and that will be low and outside for ball 3. Three balls and no strike to the number 9 hitter, Aaron Stow. That catches the outside corner of the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch, and that is going to be straight up the chute. And caught at the plate by Fajardo. Nice job by Connor Fajardo. So 1 up and 1 down, and that will bring up John Howard. He walked his first time up. And the pitch, and that is going to be a hard hit ball. Nice spot by Apple. See if he can get up in time. On that hard hit ground ball to third. So on the 5-3 put out. Now Gavin Case up to the plate. And that pitch is going to be just outside for ball 1. But what a beautiful stop there by Apple. Gavin Case 0 for 1 on a flyout. And that is going to be a hard hit ball out to left field. And will be third out of the inning. It goes to Jimmy Keller out in left. So 3 up and 3 down. And B106.com. So going to the bottom of the third inning, the Mustangs up 13-0. In the bottom of that second inning, the Mustangs scored 9 runs on 4 hits with 4 errors and 1 left on to go up to 13-0. So Isaac Klinker up at the plate. He is 0 for 1 walked his first time up, and then flied out his second. So we'll see if they have any change up. John Howard was out pitching. We'll see if he still is. Looks like he is still there. I'm not sure. Center field, I'm not sure who the center fielder is. But that doesn't matter at the moment. And that pitch is in the dirt for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes to the cleanup hitter, Isaac Linker. And a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike to the junior shortstop. And it's going to be a hard hit ball past the third baseman out into left field. As he turns first. That ball was well hit to left field, so that brings up Jimmy Keller. We will have a courtesy runner for a Linker, and that will be Nick Castaneda. So Castaneda now out at first after Linker gets on with a single. Bright sunshine now here at the field, and that pitch is going to be up and in for ball 1. John Howard with 18 total pitches. I believe this is our third pitcher they've had so far today. And that ball is going to get away. That's going to be a wild pitch as that bounces off of the shin guard of the catcher. So Castaneda to second on the wild pitch. So 2 balls and no strikes to Keller. And that pitch way outside once again, but was corralled by the catcher Dustin Howard. He's getting quite a workout behind the plate right now. So for the Mustangs, Austin Apple on deck, Alex Ortega in the hole. And the pitch, and that's going to be bounced in for ball 4. So runners now at first and second for Apple. Austin Apple with that beautiful diving stop out at third base. Throws across to McBride for the out, and now we'll have a courtesy runner for Keller. And that will be Dylan Woods. So Austin Apple up at the plate. Apple is 1 for 1, a single, and then also hit by a pitch his last time up. 13-0 in the third inning, Mustangs. Pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. John Howard out on the hill. Checks his runner, and now that's a hit ball. It's going to be a double play as Castaneda was heading to second base and on the line drive out. So 2 outs to the shortstop. As he was forced out. And that pitch is going to be driven down the left field line, but foul. As Alex Ortega up at the plate, no balls and 1 strike. And that pitch in the dirt, but Dustin Howard keeps it from getting away from him. So 1 ball and 1 strike. To Ortega, and that pitch is going to be in the dirt. So 2 balls and 1 strike. With 2 outs here in the third. Dylan Woods still at first. And the pitch, and that's going to be a hard hit ball out to left field, and that may be out of here. Let's see if it has far enough to go, and that is up against the fence, and they will send Woods home on the double. On the double by Alex Ortega. So up against the fence out in left field. Alex Ortega with the double. Yeah, first pitch to Mussman is in there for a strike. That pitch low and away for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike. 14-0 now. Fort Morgan. I have 14 hits, 14 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 2 left. That ball catches the strike zone for ball 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the third. John Howard with the pitch and out to second base. Picks up and over to first for the out. But the Mustangs plate 1 as we go to the top of the fourth inning with the Mustangs leading at 14-0 on B106 and B106.com. So going to the top of the fourth inning, the Mustangs leading at 14-0 here. Next ball game for the Mustangs will be next Saturday. Should be a home game. They should host. I looked that up before we came. They are number 6 in the RPI in 4A. So Mustangs should be home for the nice pitch there by Jacob Ortega on the curveball. But they will be home next weekend on Saturday to see if they can qualify to get to the state tournament. And the pitch, and that's going to be hit out to the shortstop, Isaac Linker. Scoops and over to first, but that is not Isaac Linker. We have some different people in there. Now it looks like Nick Norris is over at first for McBride. So Nick Norris is over at first. And Castaneda is at second. That pitch is going to be outside for ball 1. Mussman has moved to shortstop. And that pitch is going to be looped foul down the left field line for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And over at second base is Nick Castaneda. That pitch is in there for a strike. That is 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was the third one, and that pitch is in there for strike 3. 4 out here in the fourth inning. And that brings up Dustin Howard with 2 outs and caught in center field with Hamer. So that will be 3 up and 3 down for the Blue Devils as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning with the Mustangs up 14-0 on B106 and B106.com. Brian Nickel here at Legion Field as the Mustangs have dominated this game right from the start, scoring 4 in the first, 9 in the second, 1 in the third. And it looks like Caden Edson will be up at the plate for the Mustangs. His first time up. On the hill now for the Blue Devils is a lefty, and that will be let's see, number 12. Let's see who that is. That is going to be Hernandez. Don't have him on my list. Caden Edson will be up to bat. In the place of Connor Fajardo. So Edson up at the plate. So Edson in at the plate. As he will face the left-hander. And that will be ball one. That is, I believe it's Elder Hernandez. For the ball as the Mustangs lead at 14-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. And the next pitch misses low for ball two. 2 balls and no strikes. To Caden Edson. Edson in from the right side, and that pitch is going to catch the outside corner of the plate for strike one. 2 balls and 1 strike on the number 9 hitter, Caden Edson. J.P. Hamer on deck, Jacob Ortega on deck. That ball misses down for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. So Jacob Ortega with the win here today for the Mustangs when it gets over. Another half inning or so, and that is going to be ball 4 to Edson. So nice job by Caden Edson for the walk, and now Hamer up. Hamer's 1 for 2, home run and a walk, and also reached on an error. But Hamer led off the game with a home run to center field. Now they're going to throw back, and Edson back in under the tag. So safe at first is Caden Edson. J.P. Hamer at the plate. He will be followed up by Bobby Tolson, it looks like. That pitch is way up and outside. Nice stop there behind the plate. I believe they have a new catcher. Looks like number 15 is Simon Johnson behind the plate. So they just called a balk on the pitcher. So that will send Edson to second. J.P. Hamer with the RBI out there. Edson getting his walking lead out there, and that pitch is going to miss upstairs for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. As Bobby Tolson waits on deck. Hamer waits for the left-hander, and that is going to be outside for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. 14-0 here as we play in the bottom of the fourth inning in the final game of this Colorado 7 League tournament. Mustangs are 2-0 in this tournament, and that will be ball 4 for the walk. And that will bring up Bobby Tolson. And then he will be followed by Nick Norris. So we'll see if we can. I know Nick is at first base. We will see. Where they come out in the top of the 5th. Norris, I believe, was at first base. So we'll see. Bobby Tolson will come in. Nick Norris on deck as they finally get the umpire straightened out on the batting changes here for the Mustangs. So Hernandez with the pitch and a double steal, and that's going to get away from the pitcher. But a double steal by the Mustangs. So now runners in scoring position Edson and Hamer for Tolson. On the 1 ball, no strike count. As Hernandez gets set. And the pitch, and that is going to be, let's see if it's going to be playable. It's going to be out, foul down the first base line. So Bobby Tolson, 1 ball and 1 strike. Yes, he was the winning pitcher Friday night in the win. And that pitch is going to be outside, ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. In that last game, Hamer had 2 home runs with 5 RBIs. Keller had 1 home run. And that pitch is going to be well outside for ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. To the number 2 hitter, Bobby Tolson, followed up by Nick Norris. Play here with no outs in the bottom of the 4th. With the Mustangs leading it 14-0. So a lot of playing time here for some of the kids that do not get to start. And that is going to be a swing and a miss. That would have been ball 4. But the full count now on Tolson. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I said earlier, Fort Morgan sitting at number 6 now in the RPI. Windsor sitting in first place in that RPI rating. And the pitch. And that is going to be high and away for ball 4. So that will load the bases up for Nick Norris. So Nick Norris, his first time up today. He's been doing a good job when he's been coming in. He's been usually gets a hit. So we'll see if he can drive some in here after Nick Norris. Will be Castaneda. And the pitch way upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the 3rd place hitter, and Nick Norris, as he has come in for Trey McBride at first base. Nick Castaneda on deck, and that pitch is going to be low. Ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. To Nick Norris, a sophomore. No walks, has struck out 3 times, batting at .375. As he bats from the right side, and that pitch is going to catch the outside corner for the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. On Norris, Edson at 3rd, J.P. Hamer at 1st, and Bobby Tolson at 1st, J.P. Hamer at 2nd, And that pitch is going to catch the outside corner for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Hernandez is catching that outside part of the plate. And he checks his runners. And now the delivery, and that is going to be ball 3. The ball gets away, but nobody advances. So now full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes, no outs. With Nick Norris at the plate. He came in last inning for McBride, playing first base. So Norris ready, and the delivery, and that is going to be outside for the walk. So that will be an RBI for Norris. And that will bring up Nick Castaneda. To bat his first time up. So Fort Morgan with 1 run here in this inning. And that pitch is going to be in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. So Norris works the walk and brings in Edson. in there for strike two to Castaneda. No balls, 2 strikes. 15-0 as we play here in the bottom of the fourth. And the pitch, and that is going to be upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Now J.P. Hamer at third, Bobby Tolson at second. Nick Norris stands out at first base with Hernandez on the mound. And the pitch, and that is going to, I believe that hit him. So that will bring in another run on the hit batsman. Hit by pitch, and that will bring in Hamer. So now up will be Dylan Woods. So some good playing time here for the kids that don't get a chance to play, and that ball is going to be fouled off to the right and out of play. So the base is still loaded and still no outs. Mustangs have scored 2 to make this a 16-0 game. I was going to say contest, but I'm not sure that's the proper word. That ball is going to be outside for 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Woods, his first time up. Hernandez with a delivery, and that is going to be low for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck will be Felix Ortega. So he will be batting in the place of Austin Apple. And the delivery, and that is in the dirt. Good stop there by the catcher, Simon Johnson. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Dylan Woods. And the delivery, and that is going to be popped up out to center field and caught out there at center, but they do not advance anybody. Everybody just stays put. There's no need to run any type of score up. So now instead of Austin Apple, it will be Felix Ortega. And the delivery, and that misses for ball 1. So the Mustangs plate 2 here. So far in this inning, they make it 16-0. And the delivery to Felix Ortega misses outside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Felix Ortega on the air batting at .231, 3 walks and 1 strikeout. He has been hit 5 times. Senior for the Mustangs. And that pitch misses outside. So Hernandez in danger of locking in another run. 3 balls and no strikes to Felix Ortega. And the pitch, and that is going to be well inside for the walk. And that will bring in Tolson from third. And they will have a pitching change, it looks like. Alex Ortega will be up. So we will take a short break and be back with the rest of this inning. The Mustangs leading at 17-0 here on B106 and B106.com. 17-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Mustangs have plated 3 here in this inning. We've had 1, 2, 3, at least 4 walks and a hit batsman. Norris on his walk got the RBI. Edson came in. Castaneda was hit by a pitch. That scored Hamer. Then Felix Ortega walked. That scored Tolson. So now up at the plate is Alex Ortega. He is 2 for 2, a sacrifice fly, a single, and a double. And the pitch, and that is going to be high for ball 1. They brought in Ivan Ledesma. To pitch here in this 4th inning to Alex Ortega. On deck is Devin Mussman with 1 out. And that is going to be a healthy swing and a miss, though, by Alex Ortega. So 1 ball and 1 strike to the junior for the Mustangs. And that is going to be a hard hit ball, but that will go foul down the third base line. But Alex Ortega with a double his last time up, out to right center field. So now a breeze has come up out of the northeast, and that is going to be off of the glove. That's going to be a hit for Ortega, and that will score Nick Norris. So a single out to left field. And that brings up Mussman. So where Alex Ortega's single scores Nick Norris, as Mussman comes up to the plate. He is 0 for 2. Swing and a miss for Devin Mussman. So he is 0 for 2, a fly out, a sac fly, and a ground out. As the bases are still loaded with Mustangs in this 18-0 game. Does not know where the ball is. It's right at his feet. Hernandez did not know where the catcher, is Simon Johnson. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Devin Mussman, junior for the Mustangs. And that is going to be low and in the dirt for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. As Ivan Ledesma is taken over here on the hill. Checks his runners and gets the sign and the pitch, and that is going to be low once again. 3 balls and 1 strike. So once again, the 3 ball, 1 strike count. See if he can get it over the plate or if it's going to be another walk. That's going to be hit out to the second baseman. To second, I think he's safe. Everybody's going to be safe. As Castaneda scores. That was... So everybody advances 1 base. So that will score a run, and that is going to be ball 1. That scored Castaneda. And Edson up to the plate. He walked his first time up. He actually led off this inning, and that's going to be fouled back to the screen. So 1 ball, 1 strike. So starting it back through the lineup once again in this 4th inning. This is the 10th man to bat. Devin Mussman. Felix Ortega at 3rd, Alex Ortega at 2nd, and Devin Mussman at 1st. And the pitch. And that misses for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fort Lupton was 6-1 this year, 11-6 overall. And that's going to be hit right back to the pitcher as they're going to go to first for the out. But that will score Felix Ortega. As that ground out to the pitcher. And that will be let's see, that will be the out at first, I guess. And that is now 20-0. Now, so we will take a break with the Mustangs up 20-0 as we go to the top of the fifth on B106 and B106.com. So 20-0 here as we play in the top of the fifth inning. And the batter is going to be Simon Johnson. With a 1-1 count. So Felix Ortega, Jacob Ortega on the hill. 2 balls and 2 strikes. With that swing and a miss, that is going to be strikeout number 1 here for the first out. That will bring up number 16, Zane Oswald. And that pitch is going to be upstairs. So Simon going to be a swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now to Zane Oswald. And that ball just misses. A little bit low and outside. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that is going to be strike 3 as he goes down looking. So 2 up and 2 down. Let's see if this is now Ivan Ledesma. He is 0 for 1 on a ground out. So 20-0 here, Fort Morgan. As we play here in the top of the fifth, and that is going to be low in the dirt for ball 1. So 1 hour and 29 minutes so far for the game. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth, and that is going to be in there for the strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to the number 8 hitter. And the pitch, and that's going to be fouled back over the screen. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're a strike away from getting this game over with and moving on to regionals next weekend. And the pitch is going to be looped out, and that should be to the second baseman, and it is for the third out to Nick Castaneda on that little pop out there. So this game comes to an end with the Mustangs winning it 20-0. We will be back with the post-game show in 2 minutes on B106 and B106.com. The Fort Morgan Mustangs post-game show is brought to you by Morgan Community College. Find out why Morgan Community College is the best choice for your higher education. Visit MCC online at www.morgancc.edu or stop by the campus for a personal advising session. MCC, here to help you imagine, believe, and achieve your goals. Well, the Mustangs win it 20-0. On my line sheet, I have no runs, 1 hit, 4 errors, and 2. So it's only a 1 hitter I have for Jacob Ortega. And 2 left on. For the Mustangs, had 20 runs, 12 hits, no errors, and 6 left on. Jacob Ortega with the complete game, having for 1 hit, 1 hour and 31 minutes. Mustangs lead it off. The scoring in the bottom of the first. Hamer comes up, hits a home run to center field, and then the scoring just goes from there. They score 4 in the first, 9 in the second, 1 in the third, and 6 in the fourth, as the Mustangs get a number of younger players in today to get some more experience as they go into regionals next Saturday, which should be here at home next Saturday. We'll see when they come out with those pairings that come out, or with the seedings, maybe Tuesday, but they will be on Chassa, Max Preps in there someplace. John will probably also have those on the sports report during the week on B106 and B106.com. But nice job here today also by Jacob Ortega, as he goes the complete game. I have him for 64 pitches, 37 strikes, 27 balls with 5 strikeouts, 1 hit, and 2 walks. So our Fort Morgan Mustangs player of the game is brought to you by Transwest Chevrolet Buick, serving Northeast Colorado and now located in Fort Morgan and Sterling. They have a great selection of new and used vehicles. Stop by and take a test drive. So our player of the game today will be Jacob Ortega, as he goes the 5 innings with a 1-hit shutout, as the Mustangs win it 20-0. J.P. Hamer with another home run here in this game. So great job once again today by our sound engineer and producer of Fort Morgan Mustangs baseball, and that is Isaac Greenwood. Thanks to Isaac for the great job he has done this year for us. This is Brian Nickel. Once again, the final score here, the Mustangs 20, the Fort Lupton Blue Devils 0 here in this final game of the Colorado 7 League Tournament. You have been listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs baseball on B106 and B106.com. Good night, everybody.